This is the Learning Agile video series. In this video, we are talking about Agile for your team and how you can transition your team to Agile methodologies and processes. Traditionally, development teams have specific releases with predetermined content and predetermined dates. At the start of each release, the management team meets with the development team for the ritual arm twisting of commitments on both the release date and the content. The challenge in this scenario is that management is trying to dictate both the release date and the content, while the development team's belief is that they can achieve one or the other. In reality, the content side of this equation may be more flexible than the development team initially believes it to be. Unfortunately, development teams do not always realize this, and people start working wonky hours to get things out the door. As a product manager or project manager, you may be thinking about moving to Agile and transitioning your team into a more agile methodology to help with some of these problems. However, the key to transition is to do it right. I've come across some organizations that claim that they tried using Agile, but it didn't work for them. When pressed further, it was clear that they had made no real effort to transition to Agile, preferring instead to maintain the status quo inside the organization. Their project managers kept running projects, but called them Agile projects. They retained their business analysts and technical architects, so, of course, the results should hardly surprise anyone. Of course they failed. They weren't actually doing Agile at all. So if you're thinking about changing to an Agile methodology, then you'll want to plan this transition with care. On the surface, it appears quite easy to transition the organization to Agile, but you shouldn't underestimate the strength of resistance you may encounter. Not many people have worked in a truly agile environment, so there may be fear of the unknown or not know how it's done, and a compulsion to stick with what they know. So here are some things to consider before you start your transition. First, you want to understand, what do you want to get out of this process? Since change is hard for some people, you need to understand, where are you willing to make compromises early in the process in order to get the results you want? You can always push for more once you've demonstrated that you're getting the desired results. Express that what you want to add is simply the next step in the evolution of the process. Don't start your transition on a whim. If the process is being forced on the team and the team has not been properly trained, this can create a lot of negative feeling and general lack of confidence in you, your leadership, and the new process. Understand that education is your friend. Learn what you need to learn and get comfortable with it. Try using agile methods on a small scale project first to work out some of the kinks or bugs. Once you've learned, educate the rest of your team. Ensure that everyone uses the same vocabulary and has the same understanding of the process before you truly begin. This education process will help you find gaps in your own knowledge. Once you've transitioned, you have to commit. Don't look back. Yoda had this in mind when he said, "Do or do not, there is no try." If things start to go wrong, make adjustments to the new process rather than reverting to your old methods. You need to have a level of commitment from your team to be successful. And to get that commitment, you need to believe in the process yourself. Agile planning can work for you and your team if you're committed to doing it right. One of the things that I also see are project managers struggling to get their team working well in an agile environment. So how do we get our team really working? Well, teams when truly empowered, will always make better decisions than one individual. This collective wisdom has a number of benefits. We get a greater buy in and commitment to agreements when they arise from participatory decision making. We make more informed decisions when we gather full team insights. We essentially reward team members for working together by giving them the power to own their decisions. By engaging team members in ownership of their decisions, we'll move them through the dysfunctions of low standards and artificial harmony into very high standards and high trust. And we encourage teams to engage in constructive conflict that leads to better and better decisions and hence higher and higher performance. So then the question comes, how do I empower my team? Well, Agile, by its very nature, requires a structure where decisions are often made and made quickly for each iteration. Given the quick turnaround and iterative nature of Agile development, timely decision making is critical to successful implementation. Unlike traditional methods, Agile provides significant transparency and reduces the need for exhaustive checkpoints. This transparency provides managers insight and presents an opportunity for team members to be empowered to make certain decisions without having to reach back through a series of approvals and red tape. Having the right resources on the team, including end users, decision makers, and other key stakeholders, helps facilitate the decision making process. The product owner is the lead who brings the customer and the business perspective. This person must be provided the decision-making authority for the priority of the content of releases. When transitioning to Agile, organizations generally underestimate the impact of this consideration. Having an Agile method requires that leaders are empowered to make decisions to keep projects on track. If the organizational government structure does not support this consideration, it's unlikely that success can be achieved. So we want to encourage team empowerment through our own behavior. We continuously ask team members for their guidance on emergent decisions about the Agile adoption. Seek team insights around removing organizational impediments. Find out what is most challenging for team members and aggressively attack those challenges. Make yourself accountable to the team. Leaders empower teams through their commitment to them, their support of them, and their own behavior around them. Finally, you need to promote collaboration. At the heart of Agile projects, there are three key roles: the product owner, the Scrum Master, and the team, which can be a group of stakeholders, business people, and technical resources. To facilitate the culture of collaboration, when practical, teams, or at least the core members, such as the product owner, Scrum Master, and team leads, should be physically located or connected virtually. This means if physicality is not an option, teams should participate in all daily Scrum meetings through video conferencing. Given the short iterations and continuous reprioritization that happens in Agile, it's important that people are networked together to communicate changes in a timely manner. Agile teams, regardless of their contracting arrangement, should be integrated as a single team. Whether a group is contracted separately to perform something like independent testing or to provide management oversight, it's important to integrate the teams to reduce the potential for process delay. So, in conclusion, when transitioning your team to Agile, or maybe you're just starting to feel out the idea of using Agile processes in your organization, but you may learn more from failing to implement Agile. If you only take away one thing from the Agile processes, it should be the necessity to reflect and learn. Good or bad, we reflect on how it went. We learn from the experience, and we remember the person who never made a mistake never made anything. If you only have project managers, the solution to every problem probably looks like a project. If you're content with generating status reports, managing risks and issues, and chairing meetings, no wonder your stakeholders are angry. If you can't stop projects completely in your organization, try to be prescriptive over the entry criteria. Make sure they scale and can't be done more efficiently by your Scrum team. Overall, the move to Agile is very simple. You just start doing Agile, but that's also what's extremely hard. You have to stop doing projects. Good luck with your transition.